Welcome. You're listening to the Keeping Ashland Healthy podcast, a podcast production of the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Ashland County, Ohio. Thanks for joining us. And thank you very much. Very special edition of the Dr. Ashley and the Boss podcast. How are you doing, though, Dr. Ashley?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I always like to ask her first, or else I get in trouble later on. So,
not true.
Okay, so Dr. Ashley and I are in the studio with two very, very, very special guests. We have with us Sandy Burkholder.
Hello.
And Tim Chandler.
Hello.
Tim and Sandy are co-chairing, you correct me if I'm wrong on this, the Veterans Appreciation Day, which is coming up Saturday, August 10th, 2024 at 11 o'clock out at the Ashland County Airport.
You've got it all right. You're
Okay.
doing a nice job, yes.
Well, thank you. We are going to mention those details a few times because sometimes our listeners don't have a pen at the ready or a keyboard to type that down. So I want to make sure we get the specifics correct. But we wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about this Veterans Appreciation Day for 2024 because I believe you and Tim, this is your first time being the co-chairs of this.
It is.
How did that happen?
Well, gee.
The story that we can put on air.
Yeah. So I went to one of the meetings early on. I was invited to go to one of the first meetings. And as I walked out, I had that responsibility. That's it. So don't show up at a meeting that you know, not really sure what's going to happen because this is how it happens.
This can happen. Yes.
So
That's
I'm
great.
Just saying.
Okay. All right.
I guess I couldn't say no.
Well, then, Tim, what happened? How did Sandy get you involved then?
Actually, I got involved last year. Denny Baum had approached me about getting a Vietnam traveling wall out there. So we ended up doing that, and I was put in charge of just the wall, not the rest of it. So this year they asked me, it's like, hey, can you, kind of hang on and, help us out with the next year? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I can. Long story short, just like Sandy, it's like I show up at a meeting and they're like, you two handle this real well. See ya.
Yeah. I like that. It's the Ashland way. I like that. Yeah.
Natural leaders, I think.
Natural.
That's how they
That's what
picked
came
you.
through.
Yeah, I think so.
They wouldn't have asked otherwise, I think. So.
Well, it's for a very
Yes.
awesome event. So how can you not
Right.
be
Right.
part of
Absolutely.
Well, and again, I want to get into some of the details on what folks can expect, but I think we can all agree, any efforts to recognize, honor our veterans, we should take and do it to the best of our abilities. And I was really struck, and I know we'll get into talking about it, that, Tim, who's a veteran himself, emphasize one of the differences, and I think there are several differences this year maybe than previous years, is one of the differences that he really sees the veteran in the context of the family. So it's not just the veteran. Of course, we want to appreciate our veterans, but we also want to support the entire family because, right, Tim, when the veteran's deployed or when the veteran is involved with things, the family's involved too.
Very deeply, and a lot of veterans, myself included, we kind of overlook it because, we deploy, we have a job to do.
Yeah.
And our focus and concentration is on that job, making sure everything goes right. And you say goodbye to your family, your friends and everything, and you think, okay, they're back home, they're safe, and no worries. But we forget that when we leave now, all the responsibilities that we had at home now falls on the spouse or mom, dad, whoever you leave behind. Sure. So now they have to take care of, paying all the bills, making sure everything gets fixed. If a branch comes through the roof, who are they going to call,
Right.
So this is our way of saying, we appreciate the veterans, greatly do, always will. But let's appreciate the family along with the veteran for what they do when the veteran's not there.
Yeah, that's great. So having, broadening maybe the focus of the event, I think, to include families more intentionally. I thought that was one difference from maybe in previous years, and I thought that was a good difference because, again, for Dr. Ashley and I working in our system with our partners, I can tell you that it's not just the veterans that are struggling with mental health or substance use issues. It's oftentimes whether it's relational issues directly or maybe that spouse is struggling with, again, all the demands you talked about, Tim. They can feel overwhelmed. anxious, sometimes just not sure where to go and who to rely on. And also that idea, I want to be that solid core for the veteran that maybe, like you said, is deployed. I don't want to be he's got enough or she's got enough on her plate. I don't want to be an additional, and so helping them negotiate all that while at the same time taking care of their own self, because as you said, these are difficult situations. So for that alone, I can tell you this is appreciated from our perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's a great way to say it.
Yep. So Sandy, tell us a little bit more about some of the changes. This more inclusive family focus is certainly one thing, but some of the other things that are going to be going on, folks could expect. And again, we're talking about the Veterans Appreciation Day, Saturday, August 10th, 2024, at the fairgrounds, 11 o'clock. And not the airport, not the fairgrounds.
No, at the airport, not the fairgrounds.
Yeah. Airport. Is it 700 Township Road?
Yes.
1102.
Absolutely.
700 Township Road, 1102. Yes, ma'am. Other things that maybe are going to happen, folks could expect when they get there.
We have a ton of vendors that are going to be there. So we've added probably 25 to 30 vendors of all different types. So we're going to have something for the entire family. So whether it's for the females, the males, or the kids, we're going to have a lot of kids activities there. One of the things that's going to be kind of neat and new is the foam bash.
What is
What's that?
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm going to be the first one through it. I'm going to be the first kid.
It sounds violent. What?
No, it's just foam that shoots out of something that you can run through. I mean, they just keep shooting foam out. So it's just like, the kids can run through. It'll be cooling. So that's going to be one of the things that we're going to have, that is going to be kids. The Croc Center is going to be there with some different games and such. And have,
I like it.
Yeah, they're going to have some different things there. As far as with some other kids, I think we're going to have some military vehicles out there. And one of them is going to be a military fire truck that might be shooting some water. So if you need to cool down, it could be shooting some water.
It is Ohio. We cannot predict what kind of weather. It could be snow. It could be 90. Yeah, it's hard to know sometimes.
The Ashland County Historical Society is going to set up a huge, booth with just a lot of different things that they're going to be showing off for the whole area, for the veterans, that way. So they'll have some really nice displays to be able to show. As well as we're going to do free haircuts.
Okay.
For any veteran. So
just high and tight only, or will there be other kind of other styles?
Needed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But that's from 12 to 2. So that was, that's all, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but that's something new that we're trying out, this year as well.
That's good timing. School's about to start too.
Right.
Free haircuts.
For the veterans.
Oh, for just
Just
veterans.
for the veterans, yes.
No, that's really cool.
Yes.
I know. That's what I was saying. I mean, they might be real specific, but I guess after, when you're in retirement mode, right, you can wear your hair any way you want, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to double check.
If you still have it.
I didn't want to say that, audience, but Mr. Chandler doesn't have a whole lot of styling going on with that hair. So.
But the YMCA is going to be joining us too, so they're going to be doing like health and fitness. So which is extremely important for any age, and it doesn't matter who you are. So those are a few of the, just a few of the additionals that we're bringing in. So there's going to be something that everybody's going to.
Now, is any cost for folks to come?
Oh, it's absolutely free. Yes, I mean we're going to start at 11 o'clock with the opening ceremony.
Yes. Okay.
And right after that, we'll do a veterans picture.
All right.
And right after that, it's a free lunch open to everyone that comes through.
Wow. Free lunch, anybody who shows up.
Yes.
All right. At noon, you've heard that. This is a Township Road. There's a lot of activities that are going on. Some new, some things that they've done before. Now, I think there is an opportunity if folks do, it costs a little bit of money, but there's something about helicopter rides. Can somebody tell me about that? Oh,
okay, they're all looking at me. So we have a UH-1 Huey helicopter coming up. They're actually coming from Georgia, coming up here. They will be offering Huey helicopter rides. It is $125 a person.
Okay.
$10 off for a veteran, so $115 for a vet.
Mm-hmm.
On our Facebook page, there is a link that they sent us. You can pre-purchase your tickets online, and it's save $10. It's $115.
Okay.
The Huey will take up anywhere from 5 to 10 riders at a time.
Okay.
The ride lasts approximately 12 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And they'll pretty much fly you all over Ashland, the city, and everything. The nice thing that's different about a Huey versus a lot of the other helicopters is the other helicopters, you're in a bubble, they close the doors. On the Hueys, the doors are left wide open.
Oh.
You are seat belted in with just a single seat belt.
Okay.
And it is just exhilarating. I was fortunate enough to ride a Huey up in Volkville, Wisconsin one time for training, and yeah, I'd do it every time.
Wow.
That's really cool. I didn't know that's what a Huey was, and I did that when I was a kid.
Oh.
I remember that.
Yeah, trauma?
And it was wild. I'm like, why is there no door?
Why is there no door?
But it's fun.
Interesting. And what I don't know. I'm springing this on you, but what theaters were those used in conflict? Did they use Hueys in Vietnam or Korea or
The largest conflict that the Huey was used in was Vietnam.
Okay.
And we have a lot of Vietnam vets that are really interested in getting back on one for whatever their memory is and everything. They have been used in others after that, but then the Black Hawks were developed, and the Black Hawk is the most recently used one. So.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it had to be one of the older ones. I was familiar with the Blackhawks, but I just wanted to make sure. So keep in mind, if you would like to fly in a helicopter without any doors, this is your chance to do that.
If you're a risk taker.
Risk taker. But you have that, that single lap belt, which I'm sure will bring a degree
belt.
Is that what that's called? Well, Dr. Ashley, you may not know this, but, the single lap belt used to be very common in most vehicles. That whole chest strap was a relatively new invention. In fact, seatbelts themselves weren't even in a lot of vehicles if you go back too far. So.
At least there's a belt.
At least there's a belt. Yeah. Right, there is that. So, well,
sounds fun.
That does sound fun. And there are some musical folks that are going to be there. Now, is this just going to be period-specific music, or are we going to have music from different eras? Is this going to be swing bands only?
Everybody's going to be able to do a little, movement.
Yeah.
If everybody could just see me now, huh?
Yeah, this is an audio podcast. The audience is not going to benefit by this. Yes.
But no, but our first one's going to be the bluegrass.
Okay.
So that's going to be fun. So it's going to be, if you like bluegrass. But and then we've got General Patton that's going to be there.
I heard Patton is coming. I don't know how you manage this. Is this like a hologram?
Oh, no, it's a real person.
A real person,
It's
okay.
a real person,
Okay.
yes. Phil Dirt and the Dozers. They were
I've
just
heard
here.
of Phil Dirt.
Was it Phil Dirt and the Dozers was just here for Ashland, or was that Disco Inferno?
That was Disco
Okay.
Inferno.
All right.
Phil Dirt and the Dozers, a lot of Ashlanders, old-timers, we remember them from way back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. They've been around for like 50 years. They play a lot of the music accustomed to like the Beach Boys era and everything. So, yeah, if you want a beach party, this is the place to be.
Nice. All right. And then Disco Inferno 2?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to let Tim talk about Disco Inferno too, because he's the one that checks all these out.
Yeah.
And he's tries his dance moves on them. Make sure that they're going to be okay for him to dance to one.
Man, we gotta get a video podcast.
We do.
We gotta do it.
You won't believe what Tim's doing right now.
Falling down works for any music. So, yeah, Disco Inferno, they're based out of Cleveland. They are a very high energy, very active band. They were here just in June for the Myers Bandshell Summer Concert Theory.
Okay.
It was very hot that day, so they moved them up to Hugo Young. They were here about 5 years ago. They got rained on. We moved it to Hugo Young. They're an outdoor band, but for some reason they keep getting moved indoors. But they play a lot of the 70s music, disco music, but very high energy. They draw the crowd in. They'll come down, put a mic in your face and say, "Come on, sing with me," and all that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm standing at the back.
Interactive, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun though.
Now, we've been doing this event in Ashland for some time. Do you know what year this is?
This is year number 11.
11 years of doing the Veterans Appreciation Day. Okay.
Yes.
Well, this is exciting. You're going to cap things off with something super exciting.
Oh my goodness, we are really excited about this.
Yeah.
So we were going back and forth between fireworks and a drone show.
Sure.
But we are going to do a drone show.
Yeah.
And we have 300
300.
drones 300.
Wow.
It's amazing.
It is. And we've seen a rough draft of it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome. So you need to come out, but you need to come more into the airport to see it because they go about 400 feet high, whereas fireworks go about 600 feet high. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a difference, but it's gonna take up the entire sky.
Now, there is a rumor that they're going to configure themselves into an image of the mayor's face. Is that true?
Oh, I can't reveal
You can't reveal
anything. I cannot.
Top secret.
You're gonna have to come out and see, but you are gonna want to be on the airport. You're gonna want to come in because you don't want to stand out. You don't want to stay on the road. You need to come into the airport and just bring your lawn chair
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be and come in.
Well, if folks aren't familiar with these drone shows, it almost looks unreal because of the precision, I think, of these drones and how they're controlled. It's I guess the best way to say it, Dr. Ashley, is you have to see it to believe it.
Seriously, I saw my first one this past weekend.
Yes.
And I would encourage anyone who has the opportunity, come out and check this out because I was in awe. Like,
Yeah.
it was so cool to see in real life.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah,
So,
the degree of technology, maybe AI. I don't know how they're doing all this, Tim. But yes, I've heard this is becoming more and more of an alternative to fireworks. And Tim mentioned before the program started, there was some thought that went into fireworks versus drones. And maybe speak a little bit to that, Tim. I think this was more of an intentional choice because, fireworks maybe aren't everybody's favorite thing, but for maybe reasons that folks wouldn't think of right offhand.
Well, like you say, we went back and forth on it, and we've had fireworks in the past every year. Yeah. And fireworks are a great show, and you can see them from anywhere, any direction. But fireworks carry loud noises with them, very loud booms. Mm-hmm. Many veterans do not want to hear those loud booms anymore. It brings back bad memories, nightmares, things they can do without. So with the drones, there's no real noise. I mean, it's a humming noise, like about 10,000 bees up in the air just sitting there.
That traumatizes me, but I watched The Swarm, and that was a very scary movie in the 70s, but that's okay. That's okay.
But without the loud noises, we're hoping that more veterans will come out and see this spectacular show. We did get a brief viewing of it, and it will be very awesome, very veteran, patriotic oriented. And as Sandy said, you need to come to the airport where fireworks are three-dimensional and you can see them from anywhere. Mm-hmm. The drone show is basically two-dimensional.
Okay.
You want to be there right in front of it because if you're on a side road looking at it sideways, you're not really going to see the image. You'll just see a bunch of pretty lights up in the sky. And
I
that's it.
see. Mm-hmm, that's important. True. So, and do you think there's plenty of parking there at the Ashland County Airport for this?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll have plenty of parking, and we'll have, we'll be able to get you to and from because we're gonna have golf carts running all over the place. But yes, we will.
But that's important. Thank you for saying that, Tim. That folks have to be watching the show from a particular angle, or else they won't get the full effect of what you're trying to do.
Correct.
Excellent. Well, we are talking about the Veterans Appreciation Day that is coming up Saturday, August 10th. 2024, 11 o'clock out at the Ashland County Airport in studio with Dr. Ashley and I, Tim Chandler and Sandy Burkholder are the co-chairs this year of this wonderful event. And we're just excited. I told you before we jumped on, we want to promote this event. And you're doing a lot of promotion efforts. We're just hoping that folks will come out. If they can't stay the whole day, at least come out for part of this. And as you say, you've made it so accessible to not just the veterans, but the whole family. I'm hoping that they can come out and they can see or take part in something that will, again, appreciate our veterans, but also, talk about community and the importance of family and community and just supporting one another.
And with this, the community has definitely been involved in that. We have to give a shout out to the entire community and surrounding because of all the different, this event doesn't happen without donations and the community's involvement.
Right.
So thank you to everyone that has supported us for the Veterans Appreciation because it takes a lot to make it happen.
Yeah.
And Tim and I, we're just two people, but the committee is made up of so many that have, that put forth a lot of time to make that so, because we could not do it, just the two of us. It's huge, and we have a great team that helps
No,
us out.
I do you have any idea how many people that have been on the committee that were in some way touching this event in the planning? That's got to be a lot of folks, I would imagine.
Gosh, I bet we're upwards of at least 20, something
Yeah.
depending
At least.
just that in with our meetings, because we meet
Yeah.
frequently, but everybody just they do their part, and
And on that, I want to huge shout out to Denny Baum. He's the airport manager, has
Okay.
been for years out there, and Denny works tirelessly every time because he has to make sure if we have the room for whatever's coming out, and he has to reconfigure, which taxiway might be used or which runway might be altered. He does a great deal. And like she said, the rest of the committee, Carl Reichert and the rest of them, Don with the buses, and everybody pitches in. It's not a 1 or 2 person effort. It's definitely everybody involved to make this happen. And I do want to add, this is not just Ashland County veterans.
Oh, good
This
point.
is open to veterans anywhere you are. If you hear this, please come. This is your day. It's a Veterans Appreciation Day. Bring your family, have some fun. Enjoy it.
Yeah, and you'll get to meet Tim or Sandy. They will be happy to autograph anything that you bring them.
I don't know
Yeah.
if we're quite that famous, but absolutely, if that's what
You
it
will be. You will be.
I can forge John Elway's name real well.
We're also going to be out there, the Mental Health and Recovery
Well, yeah.
Board. We're going to have a table, so you
Yeah.
could stop by our table.
Stop by the table.
And there's going to be lots of other vendors too. But
There's going to be quite a few veteran services, that are going to have tables out there too. So,
Yeah.
like I say, there's going to be something for everybody, and I think it's just nice for, just like even for you guys, just to be involved.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of
it's an
times-
honor for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't know what we don't know, so
Yeah.
it's a learning for everybody, I think too.
Yeah, and I was struck because I read a piece recently in the Ashland Source about Tim being a veteran, but also yourself, Sandy. You got a couple boys I think that have served or are currently serving. So
They're out now, but they have served it. I mean, I've always appreciated and been very thankful for everybody, all of our men and women that have
Yeah.
served, and all of our veterans. But it puts you, it gives you a different perspective
yeah,
when you've had a family member or someone that is close. But my boys always thank everyone that's gone on before them, because that's huge to have the veterans before them that have paved the way, and it's nice to say thank you.
Yeah.
No, and there's a saying kind of, it came out in the 60s, but the slogan, nothing about us without us. I had a former board member who said that a lot in the context of mental health issues. But basically what he was getting at, and it's true, I think, for you and Tim, is if you're going to have a event that's honoring veterans, how many veterans were involved with the planning of that event? That seems like an obvious thing to ask, but maybe you wouldn't be. Tim's been around, but sometimes events are put on for somebody's behalf, but then nobody that's represented on the planning for that, and that's why sometimes events fall flat because and people scratch their head and like, how did this come? So it's whether we're talking about mental health or veterans or any group. And this is I'm giving you guys a free tip, audience. If you're going to put on an event or a training, make sure you include people that you're trying to impact on your planning committee, because they will help steer you in the right direction and hopefully keep you from pitfalls that are pretty obvious to them, but wouldn't be if you don't know. So Tim's point about the fireworks, I don't know if everybody would have caught that right off the bat, for instance. So anyway, that's my little plug for, I was just very happy to read that you both have veteran experience, either directly or through family. So,
Yes. Thank you.
yep.
Yeah.
Dr. Ashley, closing comments as we let these two go. They've got things to do.
Yeah.
There's only a few days left
They
until
are
they're going to
very
be doing
busy.
this.
No, I just want to say thank you so much for coming to the podcast today, and also for allowing us to be part of the event. We're really looking forward to that.
Very much so.
Yeah.
We will sign things. I mean, I'm sure we've got plenty of people.
Yeah.
We will come to the booth. We will sign stuff.
We will, for sure.
So Veterans Appreciation Day this year is at the Ashland County Airport, 700 Township Road, 1102. You're going to probably have to put that in the Google Maps. That's what I had to do last time I went. I got lost. It is Saturday, August 10th. 2024 at 11 a.m. If folks, Sandy, they shouldn't have any questions after this informative podcast, but in the event that somebody wasn't a close listener, And they have questions. What's the easiest way? Go to your Facebook page?
Go to our Facebook page.
Okay.
Yes,
So
send
it's
us a message. We'll get right back to you.
and
Absolutely.
it's the web Ashland County Veterans Appreciation Committee, or
Yes.
is that they type that in? Okay. Ashland County Veterans Appreciation Committee. All right. Well, we expect to see you out there. We'll know if you're not there. We expect to see you at the Veterans Appreciation Day. Come see Tim, come see Sandy, Dr. Ashley, and I, and all the wonderful vendors that will be out there. The events, as you heard, from 11 o'clock on, ending in a spectacular drone show on Saturday, August 10th, beginning at 11 o'clock. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Sandy, for
you so
being
much.
on the program.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
We appreciate it.
Well, until next time, thank you for listening to another episode of the Keeping Ashland Healthy podcast. The podcast is a production of the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Ashland County, Ohio. You can reach the board by calling 419-281-3139. Please remember that the board funds a local 24/7 crisis line through Appleseed Community Mental Health Center. It can be reached by calling 419-289-6111. That's 419-289-6111. Until next time, please join us in Keeping Ashland Healthy.